Yesterday's class, we just started about what Pega is, and finally we concluded. So Pega is used to develop internal applications of any organization. Am I correct? So you take any organization, it will be having one main website and n number of internal applications. All these internal applications we technically call as intranet applications. So these intranet applications will be accessed by their own employees only, and that too at their server level. Okay, so these intranet applications are to improve their business. Okay, so these are called business processing applications also. And any of such BPM tool under BPM category, you are having n number of tools today. So any of such tools which are meant for improving their business processing applications, those are called BPM. So finally, we concluded Pega is one BPM tool where we'll be concentrating only on internal applications. So using Pega, can't we design main websites? And yes, we can do that. So because of some license related factors, no client is preferring today to develop their main websites. Maybe if we wanted to start a bank with the name ABC, no doubt we require one main website, right? And additionally, we'll be requiring n number of internal applications, maybe one for credit card, one for loans, maybe one for accounts, one for our own salary management. So one for our employee attendance tracking. Okay. So here the main website still we can proceed with Pega, but this being like static design, and maybe n number of visitors who are hitting this. So we are supposed to pay according to that. That is the reason this static kind of design will not go with Pega. So these internal things only will be going on. Okay. And in order to develop one single internal application, generally we require development phase for that. And additionally, we are supposed to test it. And there will be next phase called user acceptance testing. And there will be some kind of pre-prod, maybe production likewise. So designing one application, meaning it's not just a development. It is from development to deployment. So if you are just trying to go for Pega, so it is providing end-to-end solution for one application to be successfully built on. So maybe if I'm trying to go with something different tool, consider not with Pega. So other tools might not provide everything as like automated. So you are supposed to rely on different tools. So maybe for deployment, you may have to go for DevOps. Okay, and maybe for reporting, you may have to go for external things like Tableau or Power BI. And maybe for some kind of versioning between different environments, you may have to go for some extra things like team foundation servers. And you may have to hire different development team also for that. So with Pega, finally we concluded as, so uh, team size can be small. Am I correct? One Pega developer can do what a regular developer is doing. He can do what an deployment manager is doing, everything. So one Pega resource can able to do everything whatever we require. So instead of we maintaining 20-member team traditionally, we can just proceed with just 5-member team. And that too, this Pega product is completely automated. You need not do anything from zero. Okay, so here development or getting some output will just take maybe 10% of our traditional time. Okay. And one more statement, what Pega is claiming here is, so maybe if I have two applications, one application completely developed in the traditional manner. So they might be using Java or .NET in the background, whatever it is. This is completely done on traditional way. And this is completely done on Pega. So we will be getting same output. Okay, in terms of design, everything will be same. So here Pega team is claiming like if any application built on Pega, it will be 10 times faster compared to the traditional Go. So it will be faster, performance will be very good, design time will be very fast, and budget will be less compared to team size. Okay, so everything. So if a client wanted to go for some design, so better to choose Pega as the final go. That is what Pega is giving solution to the customer. And additionally, Pega is even helping us with something called frameworks also. So framework meaning kind of reusable product for any application. I'll talk about framework slowly. So this is what we concluded yesterday. Okay, so let's check even in terms of slides perspective. Okay, it is even helping us with some kind of integrations also, right? So as I told you, integrating meaning, so integrating with a third party application. Okay, so I'll tell you generally three scenarios. Okay, so in whatever the project you might work, so you might be working in Java project today, or you might be working in .NET project, or maybe in Pega project, whatever it is. These three scenarios will be generally common. Suppose, is anyone asking anything? If not, please go on mute. Scenario number one, consider this is our HDFC bank application. Okay, HDFC bank application. So I'm like a regular clerk working in this company, in this bank. So now one of the customer coming to me and asking for credit card. So initially some part of registration process will be there, right? So where we'll be collecting his first name, maybe last name, maybe mobile number and other details. So maybe if I click on submit, what will happen? So no doubt this data must be stored into our database table, right? We are supposed to maintain his information. So there will be some unique ID, maybe employee ID or customer ID as the primary column. And it might be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll be collecting all the information here. Fine. And I'll ask him to wait for 3 working days for the complete activation to be done. So maybe the next day, or maybe after 1 week, he's coming back and saying like, my activation is not yet done. So what I'll do, I'll just ask for his registered ID, right? So I'll just search for his number. And if I click on submit, it is trying to hit the table and getting back some information based on which I'll proceed further. So scenario number one here is our application is trying to interact with our own database, right? This is our internal database. So this database, no one else can access outside HDFC. So we technically call it as internal DB. Okay. And in our Pega language, we call it as Pega data. I'll talk about this technical words later. Okay. And scenario number two here is scenario number two here is, so consider similar example, a customer coming to us and asking for some credit card request. So first I have to search for his PAN card number, right? So maybe if this is his PAN card number, I have to get some score out of that. And this score will not be maintained by HDFC. So this is HDFC database. Okay, we might be maintaining customer information out of that. Okay, I'll be getting his first name, last name, maybe from our internal table. And CIBIL score, we will be getting from third-party application. So the same input should be reaching to third-party application, maybe like Reserve Bank of India. And they will be having their own database and they are supposed to hit and they are supposed to send back 600 as the output, right? So here scenario number two is interacting with the third-party application. Okay, and scenario number three will be same. That is, if I'm trying to search for PAN card number, it is hitting our internal table and getting some part of information, and some information I have to get from third party. So for that, this RB application will give us some permission to hit their database directly. So scenario two is like hitting that application. Now scenario three is like hitting the database directly. And from there, we'll get back the response. Okay, so scenario 2 and 3 are called integrating with third party. So scenario 2, technically we call it as web service integrations. So using APIs. So you are supposed to go for REST or SOAP. Okay, maybe Cobra or MQ related things. And scenario number 3, these are also like integrations where we call external database integrations. Getting my point? These are like external application integrating. This is like external DB integrating. Okay, so every time between requester and provider, there will be mutual contract. So here requester has to pay provider for every request whatever we send. Okay, so that is the reason they will be hitting here for only one time, and this information they will be maintaining somewhere at reusable point here, so that it can be used for multiple times for one customer to be processed. I'll talk about this reusability part also. So a requester, no doubt he has to hit third party for multiple times, but there will be best way of designing not to pay him for n number of times also. We'll slowly work on. So finally, what are we understanding is Pega is even providing best integrating part in terms of third-party application or in terms of third-party databases. Okay, so these things we concluded. Okay, so this is about like visualization part. And we even understood something about like salary related also, right? So as I told you, how closure you reach to the client. Okay, so today after you joining some company, you may be reaching to the direct client location. Maybe city is our client. So city client, what he has to do? He has to get Pega license, and the project, whatever he wanted to develop, he will not do on his own. Okay, why he will not do anything good, I'll talk about. So he will be just giving it to some third party vendors, maybe like TCS or maybe like Cognizant, whatever it might be. Okay, or let me add those statements also here. So what we'll do is, so maybe city is our client. So city day one, what he's deciding is he wanted to develop one credit card application. So for that, he wanted to choose Pega for faster development, maybe for money saving and other factors. So here city can have one Pega team hide from his end also. City can do some kind of Pega developers hiring, but any of the product based company will not proceed development from their end. Why? Because there are like n number of service based companies today, TCS, Cognizant, whatever. So maybe city is one thing which is developing everything on their own. Maybe Bank of America is another client where they're trying to give product to some consultancy company like TCS. So what happens is this TCS generally works for different clients, right? So this TCS will give them lot of extra value adds for the client. So here from client level, there will be one business analyst. So business analyst, what they will say is, we want this as the output. So whatever the development team from their end, they will blindly do that. And here in this case, business analyst will be there from client level, and they will be sharing the requirements to the maybe development team, which is in third party company today. And here development team, what they wanted to do is they wanted to give some extra value adds also. If this is the requirement given, this particular team will add some extra points saying like, so this requirement might not be helpful for us in the next 10 years, or other competitors are following this. So maybe instead of this, let's try to go this as the approach. So whatever the extra things, we call it like POCs or process improvements or value adds, whatever. So whatever the extra things we are trying to do, we are first supposed to include it at our level, and we are supposed to demo it to the client. So if client is really satisfied, so he will ask us to include this as part of these requirements also. Every time service-based companies will be in a plan to add some extra value adds, so which will not be getting as an advantage if it is maintained team at their level. So all the clients today, they wanted to get product developed from so and so third party consultancy companies only. Service-based companies are getting all the projects generally. And that too, this application, whatever we are building, so it will be having development phase initially, and it will be having testing phase. It will be having maybe the other phases. All the phases will not be distributed in one consultancy company. It will be distributed between n number of companies. So maybe today, if you are joining in, or if you're working in TCS as a developer, your testing team might be from Cognizant team different, and maybe your deployment team might be from different company like Accenture. So one application, why it is distributed between different vendors? Okay, in that scenario, what will be the advantage to the client? So these things you have to know. So let me add that statement also. So client, generally, if you wanted to build some product, okay, so there will be something kind of bid happening. So TCS, Cognizant, Accenture, maybe HCL, Wipro, all these might be coming to the bidding. So here, business analyst or so-and-so develop, so-and-so client will say like, I want this complete product to be completed in 1 year, and this is my budget. So only these two factors what client will be relying on. So based on all the requirements, TCS might come forward and say like, we'll do it for so and so amount. Okay, so this amount might not be possible. We'll do it for so and so $800 million. Okay, and Cognizant can come forward and say it like, we'll do it at 600 only. And other company might come forward and say it like, we'll do it for 400. And additionally, we'll complete it in half the time. We'll try to increase our team size from our end and we'll give it in just 6 months and this lesser cost. This is what. So based on all these negotiations, client will decide this project to be given for so and so company like Accenture in this case. So now Accenture will be given only development in this scenario. And for the same application, there will be testing also, right? So now testing also should be generally to be given for third party, but now client will not choose again Accenture. Since development is given for Accenture, so maybe testing might be given for TCS. So likewise, maybe deployment might be given for HCL. So one project will be distributed between different companies. So if that is the scenario, client will be having three major advantages. So the very first advantage here is between companies, there is like tough competition, right? There is tough competition. So no doubt quality will be very good. Okay, so every manager here will try to grab other projects, other company projects. Okay. So that is the reason first we should be perfectly developing and then we can able to blame others, right? So no doubt quality will be 100% good. Second thing here is, since it is like tough competition, maybe manager from here can say like, this particular company, I don't want to tell any names here, this particular company is not doing testing properly. We are having very good testing team. So please give that project to us so that we can do it in half the amount. And additionally, we can give 6 months extra service also. In this way, one company will try to grab other company projects. In that scenario, there will be a lot of budget saving for the client. And third and very important thing is in terms of security. So maybe if I'm a developer at this company, I will not completely know what an person is doing in terms of deployment here. And maybe this deployment person will not completely know what an developer is completely doing. So entire project related things will not be known to any single company or any single person. So that is the reason, considering all these three things, client will be giving his project between different companies. And that too additionally, it will be happening in terms of agile or scrum related things or waterfall. So I'll talk about that later. Okay. So one developer today in Pega open market is like paid around $100 per hour. Okay, that amount this client has to be paying to the below payroll company. And if you are an employee directly working at client level, you'll get the complete amount. Okay, and maybe if you are working somewhere at below chain, you might be getting maybe 50% or 25% based on your company notes. And if you are working somewhere below to this, okay, and if you are working somewhere, as I told you, there will be n number of companies in one single chain. And from client perspective, only TCS is the vendor. Okay. And from TCS perspective, there is another vendor. From this company, another vendor. From this company, another vendor. So if you're joining somewhere at the last level, so this company might not look at your background related things. Okay. This company might not look at your maybe career gap or whatever it is. So they'll be just checking whether you will be meeting his immediate client requirement or not. Okay. So if so, they'll be testing from here. If so, so they will ask you to showcase yourself as like 3 years experienced. And this person or this company, what they will do? So they'll try to check whether he can meet his client requirement or not. And maybe he can meet above client requirement or not. In this way, it will be trying to proceed. Okay, so from city prospect to only TCS is like payroll, likewise it will be reaching. And the amount, whatever you are getting done, it will be diluted, and the last you might be getting 5 lakhs per year or maybe 10 lakhs per year. So initially, if you are having some career gap, or maybe if you are like having irregular experience curve, so you should rely on these low level companies. Okay, you will be getting 100% opportunity as a fresher. You are like a fresher here, but your profile will not be projected as fresher. So no doubt you'll be projected as a 3 years experience to the end client. Okay, without you having any Pega knowledge, you cannot survive in the market. But without you having some experience also, you can survive. Okay, so initially you have to start your career somewhere at this low level. Maybe after 2 years, you might be jumping to somewhere above. Likewise, slowly you should be reaching to the client. Okay, that is what your aim should be. So finally, you do not worry about like Pega related market. So it will be very good. And if you are like staying to the client location, you'll be paid around this one, and somewhere in India or somewhere low level also, not a problem. And because of like latest artificial intelligence concepts, so Pega market is still getting increased. Okay, so you can just rely on this Pega and you can survive at the top maybe for next 10 to 15 years. So that is what the features what we are having in this Pega tool compared to any other BPM tool. Okay, fine. So coming to the competitors of Pega. So as I told you, Pega is something leader under BPM category. What do you mean by BPM? As I earlier told you, internal applications, whatever we wanted to automate. Okay, so that is kind of like in BPM, right? So under BPM, not just Pega, there are n number of tools. Out of all these tools, there is no equal competitor for Pega. So Pega is claiming like almost 95% automation is done. 95%. So by the way, Pega is also called infinity. We call it as infinity. Infinity meaning whatever the requirement you get, it can be automatically achieved. Okay, so without any coding. So infinity related automation is done. Okay, and this is also called PRPC. I'll talk about what is PRPC later. So any other tool, it's not even like 60% automated. Suppose you people might be knowing about Salesforce, right? Salesforce is not part of BPM, it is part of CRM. Whatever it is also an automated tool similar to Pega. Okay, so in this Salesforce, maybe if any of your friends working in Salesforce, you just check with them whether they will be doing any part of coding or not. So they have to write minimum 40% of the coding manually. Okay, so now Pega is one tool. You just check with any of your friends who is working on Pega. Just try to ask them whether you write any coding or not. So no one will say that they are writing coding. Okay, so 95% or even 99% coding will not be there. And there will be 1 or 2% coding required. And that too, depending upon the version of Pega they are using. Suppose this is my client where I'm using very old version of Pega. Okay, and maybe latest might be something like 8.8 or maybe 24, whatever it is. So as versions are increasing, no doubt automation will be increasing, right? So older version might not be having complete automation. Maybe 80% might be automated by that time. And remaining part, they might have some coding manually done, right? And today, after you attending for some interviews, interviewers might ask you little Java knowledge, little. Okay, maybe 1 or 2% scenarios only they'll ask you, not more than that. So if you're attending 100 interviews, maybe 1 or 2 interviews, they might ask you whether you're having Java skill or not. Why? Because they are trying to still work on the older version. Okay, who are the interviewer asking about like coding, their project might be still in the older version. So if they are in the older version, someone might have done coding manually. So no doubt they are supposed to upgrade to the latest versions, right? So whatever the code they have done, it is to be converted into the automated process. So you should be in a position to understand the existing code. It's not about you have to write the new code in the latest things. So there will be 1 or 2% scenarios. Okay, you need not even bother about that. So finally, in BPM category, there is no other equal competitor for Pega. So maybe in Google, if you are searching for low code platform or no code platform, you'll be getting Pega as the option. Okay, so other things also you might get it, but as I told you, hardly 60 or 50% automation only completed there. Okay, fine. And coming to the certifications wise. So after you doing all the projects, after you learning everything, maybe after 4 months. So what you'll do, you'll be simply preparing your resume. And within resume, you wanted to project like 3+ or 4+, right? 3+ or 4+. And if you're trying to go for an interviewer, they'll be looking at your resume. By just looking at the resume, will they be strongly believing you that you are really 4 years? No, right? No. So even they might be technically testing you, you might be handling this level of interview, but they should be having some proof whether you are real experienced or not. So for that, they will be asking for some kind of certification. Okay, whatever the certification you are doing today, so this will be reflecting how much you are. Okay, so if you think I'm having 4 years of Pega experience and I have only first level of certification, no one will. Okay, so certifications will be blind reflecting how much experience you wanted to project. Ramesh, Ramesh, please go on. In disturbance from your end. So you'll be having 3 level of major.
Let me just give you the case number. 3942.
Okay, so you'll be having 3 level of major certifications, and additionally, you'll be having few other certifications also, but these 3 are major. And this is like level 1. So we are calling it as, this is to be called as PCSA, Pega Certified System Architect. So in the older days, we used to call it as CPSA. Okay, these days PCSA, both are same. So Pega Certified System Architect or Certified Pega System Architect, whatever it is, this is System Architect, that is low level. Okay, and if you wanted to showcase your Pega experience somewhere between 0 to 2 years, so generally this certification is enough for you. Okay, maybe if you wanted to project something more, maybe 3+ or 4. Okay, so generally companies will be looking for this level, that is CSSA. So Certified Senior System Architect. Okay, so this is generally between 2 to generally 7 years or 6 years people will be having with this. And the third one is Pega LSA, that is Lead System Architect. So which you are not supposed to do. Okay, if you are doing this Pega LSA, so the certificate, no doubt you'll be getting salaries up to 40 lakh even in India. 40 lakh per annum in India. So salaries will be very high and even pressure also will be very high. So this is not at all recommended for you at this point. So you are supposed to go at this CSSA level and you are supposed to get at least 3 years of real-time experience, not this kind of exposure experience. You should really get three years of experience. Then only you are suggested to go for this LSA. Okay, fine. So if it is like LSA, no doubt you can project your profile minimum of 8+ years of experience. Okay, fine. And now some people might be asking, okay, some people might be thinking whether they can do this CSSA directly or not. It is not possible. System will not allow you. So first what you have to do is you are supposed to register in Pega PDN. So what is this Pega PDN, where you have to register and how to do certification? This process also I'll slowly explain. And after you registering, so you are supposed to do this first certification. So the certification costs around $190. Okay, so from January 1st, prices are increased. So it is like 190 US dollar. And from India, there will be again like 18% GST. So which will be close to maybe $225. And it will be like close to 19,000 rupees from India. Okay, fine. So this is what the price generally how to make payment at Pega websites, and you are supposed to clear it. Okay, and even the second certification also costs the same. So third one will be having two different things. So one has like MCQ test, what first and second related pattern will be, and the second one will be like build architecture is what you have to do. So this is not straight away recommended for you at this point. So each certification costs you separate. So you are supposed to pay $190 here as well as $190 here, and you are supposed to complete. And these certifications to be completed as soon as possible. So what do you mean by as soon as possible? So today, maybe January 1st, you are starting your Pega training. So which might be completed maybe in April or May. Okay. So in that scenario, you people will think like doing the certifications after your course is completed. So maybe April 1st is what you have completed your certification one. So maybe May 1st is what you're completing your certification two. So from there, maybe from June, if you're trying to start for attending interviews, and here interviewer or whatever the resume you are sharing with him, so there you are projecting it like 4+, right? Interviewer straight away they'll ask you, if you're having 4 years of experience, why are you having certification in the last month or maybe last week or maybe today? You cannot answer it. Yes, kada? You cannot answer this. So that is the reason certification should be completed as early as possible. So this is the only thing what you cannot manipulate. So here, if you're trying to go like an experienced, you can manipulate fake documents. You can manipulate maybe pay slips or bank history, whatever. Everything today is getting manipulated, right? But this is the only thing what cannot be manipulated. So maybe if you are getting a call from TCS or something level 5 companies, no doubt they wanted to hire the best resource only, meaning genuine resource only. So if they wanted to identify whether you are really genuine or not, they'll simply ask for your certification date. If anyone is asking you about certification date, don't attend for that company, no doubt. So they don't wanted to hire you. That is what. Okay, so these scenarios you'll face it hardly like 10 to 20 percentage cases. So remaining companies, they will not bother about your certification date because they know that you are fake. So finally, what I mean to say here is you cannot completely manipulate everywhere. It's not only in Pega. Wherever you go, you cannot completely manipulate. So here, recruitment happening on two factors. First thing is company's requirement. If they're having very urgent requirement. And second thing is if your skill is very good, top-notch skill is what you're having. Suppose in my company, if I'm having a requirement, okay, so maybe I'm a manager at TCS. And here there are like 10 developers working. So we are having development team 10 developers, and CTS is doing our testing. Okay, so CT is our client for every one of us. And suddenly, out of these 10 members, one person is resigning from our company. So what I have to do, I have to fill this position, right? I have to fill this position. And in that scenario, I'm trying to go for some kind of recruitment. So maybe per day, I'm getting 10 profiles. I'm interviewing all the 10 profiles, and I cannot understand whether this person will be matching my client requirement or not. I'm rejecting every person. So next day also same, next day also same. So maybe from past 20 days or 1 month or 2 months, I'm not getting the best profile. Okay, so consider maybe one fine day, I got like maybe 10 profiles, out of which one person is really doing good. So consider you are that person. So some kind of fake experience is what you are having. And you are like having 10 rating, 10 out of 10 out of Pega as per my standards. And remaining 9 people are really experienced candidates, but they are not having proper skill. So if I take any of these 9 members, will I get any productivity? So maybe if I can deploy any of these 9 non-technically candidates, so what happens? So may not be today, next day it will be like risk from the client, right? Client will say like this position is not good. So he might ask me to replace it or this position might be jumped to some other company, right? So here, filling one position is as important as for the company also. So this position, how important it for a regular developer, it's the same importance even for the company. So here, what company is doing? Maybe TCS like company here. This is not filling this position from past 20 days. In that scenario, client is not paying this person from past 20 days, right? So this will be loss for the company only. So company wants every time a position to be filled immediately. Okay, so if it is not filled immediately, there will be two dangers. So they will be losing the budget on daily basis, as well as if this position is vacant, maybe other competitors might grab that position also, right? So filling a company's position is very important for them first. Okay, in that scenario, so there might be chances of grabbing this profile also. So here manager, they can identify you as a fake resource in some other way. You can able to manipulate everything in terms of document perspective. They might even identify you, but still they will try to give you an opportunity. So it is just to fill that position from their end. It's not like showing mercy on you. It is like filling position from their end. Okay, so here what they will do is they might be filling one position with your profile, and they might be putting you in some kind of targeted position. What do you mean by targeted position? So here management internally might think like, we'll give this opportunity for this person. We'll just check for 6 months. Okay. And within which we might be marking as BGV as secondary, even if his BGV is like failed. So since we treated it as secondary for our client requirement, so urgent project basis, we are trying to hire this candidate. Even his BGV, if it is failed also, it will not be noted for him. We'll be maintaining that internally. So in the next 6 months or 1 year, if he is okay meeting all the client requirements, not a problem. In between, if this person is not meeting the client requirement, we can again say him saying like, so your BGV is turned red as part of our second level of BGV after 6 months or 1 year. So your BGV is failed. You are supposed to move out. In this 6 months, what they're trying to do is they're trying to buy some time to recruit another developer like this. Okay. So finally, what I mean to say here is even if you're having some fake related, so it's not a matter. So there will be scenarios where you will be joining high level companies also. Every time recruitment happening based on two important factors: how fast are the position to be filled from the client, and how top level knowledge you are having. So if you are having very good Pega skill, no doubt you will be surviving the market. So it might be at somewhere high level company or maybe at low level company. Don't hesitate for any salary initially. So you should not think about for any other things like whether night shift or day shift, or maybe like morning hours or evening hours. So maybe your Hyderabad location or something like different location. So initially, if you are having something irregular curve today, don't go for any extra things initially. For the next 2 years, you have to compromise in every prospect. So once you step into Pega, no doubt your career will be turned. Okay, so you have to adjust maybe for 1 year or 2 years, based on which all the things will be coming under your control. Once you get things under your control, then you can play however it might. So maybe after getting really 2 years experience, you can project for the next company like 5 years also. You can manage that. Then you can just demand saying like, I want work from home only, and I'll be working at this hours only. I wanted to work in UK timings only. Whatever it is, you can demand it. So based on your top level knowledge, they will be adjusting as per that. This is what everywhere happens. Okay, don't get scared whether you're having career gap or not. So don't get scared whether you are having like um, maybe PF related issues or whatever it might be. So n number of people. So today 99% of people are getting survived into Pega even without having like genuine experience because of n number of opportunities today. Okay, so company here, no doubt if they are not giving the opportunity, some other company is ready to give the opportunity, maybe with a lesser salary. So what I'm saying is try to adjust according to that. Okay, fine. So don't worry. So from today, next to 4 months, how are you concentrating? That is the only thing turning your career. Okay, 99% weightage will be on your Pega skill. 1% will be your consolidating all these factors. So don't blindly compare your situation with your friend's situation. So generally people will say like, my friend has learned Pega and maybe he's not getting any call or he's not getting like selected in any company. So how he learned, okay, that you will not know, right? Okay, so if you are learning everything in terms of real-time projects, real-time scenarios, no doubt you'll get very good opportunity. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So here, maybe today, if you are getting a call from some company, ABC company. Okay. So initially, after they calling you, what they'll ask? So they'll ask you in what company you're currently working on, and what is your current experience, and what is your Pega experience. Okay. And if they're asking you anything about certification date, okay, whether you have done certification before 2 years back or 3 years back or not, in that scenario, blindly ignore that company. Okay. So no doubt this company is looking for the genuine candidates as per his client projecting. So if his client is saying like, I want only candidate who are of like before 2 years certified, no doubt this company also will ask the same. So in that scenario, you cannot manage. Or you can just add one justification also saying like, whatever the current company I'm currently working on, this is still working on older version of Pega. So I worked in this company maybe from 3 years or 4 years. And this client today is in a plan to upgrade to our Pega version, which is like Pega 24. So that is the reason in this past 3 years, my client has not insisted me to do CSA certification since it will be on older version. So we recently upgraded to the latest version. We have done all the constellation related things. And now our client asked us to go certifications on these latest versions. That is what we waited. Okay, even justifications. So some kind of manipulations can be possible. Okay, and that too depending upon this requirement. Maybe if this company is not having immediate requirement, you will not get any call back there. And if this company is having immediate requirement, what they'll ask is they'll just ask for your current company name, maybe current experience, Pega experience, and then they will say like, can we schedule an interview this Saturday? So if they're talking anything about like this interview, they wanted to check your skill first. So if you are really skilled, then they can able to think about the other things later. And maybe if client is really desperate of certification date, on day one itself, they'll ask you. So if anyone is asking about certification date, better ignore that company, you cannot manage. Okay, after even they asking for certification, maybe if they're scheduling one interview, so this is not that priority. That is what you have to correlate. Getting my point? So online everyone following, right? Come on. Is clear everyone online?
Yes, Chandra.
Okay. And regarding certifications, you people are supposed to do as soon as possible. Better to be on safer side at least for 3-4 months period. Okay, so maybe June is what you're trying to go for interviews. So if you're saying certification done on June 1st, this will be bad compared to certification done in January itself, right? At least 4 or 5 months is what we're trying to buy in between. So certifications are to be done today itself, meaning as soon as possible. If you have wanted to start your career on Pega, okay, so training or maybe attending training or whatever it might be. So this process might be delayed, but certification date should be done on the same date whenever you decided to start your career in Pega. So how to do certifications without you learning everything? Okay, so there will be some other approach. For that, you have to reach me personally. So you can call or message me saying like, I'm planning for certification, tell me the process. Based on which we'll try to help you in some other means, which will not be projected in this open forum. Got it right? There will be some other ways to complete it. So this certification date has to be done. And this certification cost also will be like a discounted from our end also. So if you are looking for that, you reach us separately for that. And certifications also has to be maintained with certain gap in between. So from system perspective, you can book both the certifications on the same date. So today I can do CSA and the very next minute I can book CSSA also. System will accept. But in future, if you are trying to project yourself If certification 1 and 2 are on the same date, again, it might not be that genuine, right? So certifications should be having minimum gap. Okay, so genuine candidates will be having gap of minimum 1 year or 2 years. Okay, and there will be scenarios where there will be only 1 week time also. It doesn't mean that they are not genuine. They can be still genuine. They might be working on the latest versions and client asked to do the certifications immediately. That is what you. Okay, so it might be between 1 minute gap or 1 year gap also. So I suggest you to go for certification for first certification this month itself, and maybe second certification maybe after 2 months. And one more advantage for you is, so certification date will not be exposed directly for you, but certification month will be exposed. January 2024, this is what your certification will be. It will not be like January 1st or January 31st. So if you're planning to do certification, maybe on month start or month end, not a problem. Okay, since you are in month end, if you wanted to get it as January as the tag there, you can start uh, thinking about this one today itself. This is what I'm suggesting. And that too, so both the certifications having are like more or less mandatory for you. What for both the certifications? So you people, if you are planning to go for like in 2 years, so this certification is enough, right? That is what we are thinking. But having this certification is like very, very important every time. Why both the certifications are more or less mandatory, even if you're planning to go like fresher. So consider maybe in TCS like bigger companies, what they're trying to do is they're trying to go for some college for campus recruitment, right? Okay, so they will be hiring almost like 400 students from there on. So these 400 students, they will be at college level, they'll be having Pega knowledge. So here they will be having CSA and CWSA certified also. Okay, getting my point. So before this stepping out of the company, so this company is trying to manage this or collaborate with this college and getting done with CWSA certified. So why this level of companies are doing this certifications on day one itself? What they will do is maybe on January 1st, they will be joining this company. After their college is done, they'll be joining the company. So here internally, they will be having 3 months of training period, right? In these 3 months, they will be having completely practical knowledge what they're trying to do. And after this 3 months training is done from company level, they will be deployed to the clients. Okay, so here City is our client, where this is like TCS development team. From bench, you will be joining some project. So there might be 10-member team here. And all the companies today, they wanted to maintain a team with junior to senior ratio equally. So the generally client here will ask every one of them to be like 10 years only, or maybe 3 years only. Okay, so candidates, if they are strong, product will be good. That is what client will be thinking here. And maybe some companies here, if they are putting everyone as a senior most developer, so they have to pay high, right? So there will not be much profit for this company, right? So here management every time they wanted to go for senior to junior ratio. So at least 4 juniors must be there compared to maybe at least 4 seniors must be there compared to 6 juniors. Okay, so maybe 4 seniors until 6 juniors must be there. So in this development team, what they will do is this company will recruit 4 senior most developers external, and 6 developers from here. 6 developers from here. And no doubt all these 10 members should be having CWSA so that it will be easy for them to be projected into the client. So if you are a person here, you don't know what exactly Pega is also. But namesake wise, you are having CWSA certification. Am I correct? Namesake wise. And you are like internally groomed here, and you will be deployed to some project. And at this high level, every one of these 10 members will be attending daily team calls. And only these 4 members will try to manage. Okay, these 4 members will try to manage. And all these 10 members will be projected like an equal level, and company will be pulling out salaries according to that. So this company will say like, this person is CWSA developer, this person is senior. or everyone is like CWSA developer. We want $80 per hour. This is what they will project. So certifications here will be maybe for namesake from our end, but for companies end, it will be very, very financially advantage in terms of projection. So that is the reason if there are like two persons, CSA, CWSA, and maybe this person is like very strong, maybe 10 out of 10 in terms of Pega. This person is like only 4 out of 10. Okay. So here company what they will do is they wanted to hire this candidate only. And if they're deploying here, and if they're saying to the client, this person is very good, and if he's just a CSA, client will not be ready to pay that amount. He's just an initially certified candidate. He might not have that level of exposure, will not pay him much. Okay, so here company's advantage is to hire this candidate only, but this is not that skill, right? So company will say like, you are supposed to complete CWSA immediately, and then only will consider your profile. Okay, so even if he is like 2025 pass out, okay, he is not even having good Pega experience, but knowledge is there. But for prospective, he should be having this certification. So what I mean to say here is both the certifications are more or less important for you. Okay, and those are to be completed as soon as possible. And this certification and other things will be carrying only 1% weightage compared to your skill. So don't think about all these things and don't ignore learning Pega. Okay. So 99% will be based on your knowledge only. Rest everything else can be manipulated. That is what I'm saying from past many years. Everything else will be manipulated. Seriously, everything else, whatever you are bothering about. So if you're having very good Pega knowledge, everything will be manipulated. Certifications or PF or UN, or maybe if you're having 10 years of testing experience, it can be easily projected to the Pega development experience. So if you're having 15 years of mainframes experience, 15 years of Java manager experience, so still it can be projected to Pega. I'll explain everything. Okay, according to your skill, I'll explain you. So there will be like mock interviews once in 2 weeks, right? So according to your skill only, we'll try to guide you. So if you're having zero knowledge, zero IT knowledge, according to that only will help you. If you're having like 10 years of some other experience and how it has to be projected into Pega, to what level you have to do certifications. Additionally, if you wanted to do project management certifications, everything will guide you personally, not a problem. Only thing for next 3 to 4 months, you have to completely concentrate. Okay, so this is what. So far we are understanding something about like Pega related background. So we are supposed to understand with Pega what type of projects will do. Okay, and day one in your company. Okay, so if this is your client, and if this is like Pega related company, so from client prospect to day one, what happens? Maybe after initial setup is completely done, some kind of work should be done from development team, right? So if you are joining like a developer here, so what you have to do? If you are joining like a developer, what you have to do? So everything we are supposed to understand. How to create new applications and how to add some extra frameworks. Okay, and maybe how to design the screens, how user interface to be done, how backend logic will be implemented, how database will be implemented. Everything we'll try to understand. Okay, so this will start in the next session. So with this, we completed this PPT. Fine. So clear, right, every one of you? Any questions or anything like clarifications required? Clear, right, everyone? Any questions, anyone? So if you're having any personal questions, if you wanted to talk to me personally also, not a problem. You just message or call on that number. According to that, we'll talk to you even personally. Okay, fine. And as I earlier told you, these sessions will be running from Monday to Friday only. And our next session will be on Monday. Okay, Monday sharp at 7 a.m. with the same joining link. People you are supposed to join. So Monday also will be giving you kind of demo, and after that, you people can decide and enroll. So got it right?
Sure. Yeah. Yes, Chandra.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.